It's Friday, August 29th. In the headlines, press freedom takes center stage at Election Leadership Debate 2025. The Electoral Office of Jamaica responds to the People's National Party's concern over security forces voting arrangements. And the Jamaica Labour Party unveils new AI assistant to allow public access to their manifesto. In business news, the Bank of Jamaica generated net profits of $21.6 billion in total assets. Regionally, Cuba condemns U.S. warship buildup in the region. And in sports, Windies to face Sri Lanka in a 7-match Under-19 series. This is the weekend news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. There were sharp exchanges at Thursday night's election debate as the leaders of Jamaica's two main political parties were pressed on growing concerns about press freedom. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, leader of the Jamaica Labour Party, and opposition leader Mark Golding, head of the People's National Party, both faced tough questions about alleged attempts to sideline local journalists from covering the ongoing election debates. The controversy stems from reports that both parties objected to the participation of specific journalists, claims that were made public ahead of the debates. CVM Television's Giovanni Dennis didn't hold back.
The constant attacks on the press in Jamaica by both political parties undermine press freedom and has been reflected in Jamaica's slippage on the World Press Freedom Index. We have just seen the release of the names of journalists that both political parties objected to participating in the national debates. Why do both parties continue to undermine press freedom and put journalists in danger?
In response, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness denied his party had any involvement in the objections.
My political party does not undermine press freedom. To be clear, my political party did not object. The objections came from the PNP.
Press freedom is a fundamental pillar on which democracy is based, and I and my party fully support press freedom. The Prime Minister said something which was untrue when he said that only our side objected to some journalists. Their side also objected. In fact, we objected to 3, they objected to 4 journalists. And the matter was eventually resolved, and here we are.
The issue has raised new questions about how Jamaica's political leaders interact with the media in the run-up to a crucial election. Several issues bubbled to the surface in Thursday's leadership election debate. Prime Minister and Jamaica Labour Party President Dr. Andrew Holness called into question the citizenship of People's National Party's President Mark Golding. During a segment discussing Jamaica's potential transition to a republic, Dr. Holness questioned whether the opposition leader was truly a Jamaican.
They were the ones who nudged, encouraged, and agreed with the government that a process should be started for the repatriation of our sovereignty. Midway the process, they have turned around to say they have challenges with it. What is it that they really want? Are you truly a Jamaican?
In response, Mr. Golding presented a copy of his birth certificate on live television to affirm his Jamaican citizenship.
I think the Prime Minister repeated innuendo or direct attack which has been leveled by his party on my nationality. And, I just wanted to just make it absolutely clear that I am indeed born here as a Jamaican. Here is my birth certificate, and it shows I was born at the University Hospital on July 19th, 1965.
The debate also saw sharp exchanges over political salaries and financial transparency. Dr. Holness, addressing a separate claim, denied allegations he holds 28 bank accounts. a rumor that has circulated since the Integrity Commission tabled a report into his finances.
That is absolutely not true. The report of the Integrity Commission includes accounts that are closed, accounts that are dormant, insurance accounts, and investment accounts.
Thank you.
They have weaponized it.
Both leaders used their platform to defend their records and challenge each other's credibility as a race toward the September 3 general election intensifies. The Jamaica Labour Party has unveiled a new artificial intelligence assistant named Bella, aimed at enhancing public access and interaction with its 2025 election manifesto. The announcement was made Wednesday by Kamina Johnson-Smith, chair of the Jamaica Labour Party's Manifesto and Achievements Committee, during a media briefing. She described the AI tool as part of the party's broader strategy to engage voters in new and innovative ways ahead of the September 3 general election. Bella, now integrated into the party's online platform, is trained on the JLP's full list of achievements, manifesto commitments, and detailed information about each of its candidates.
We want people to engage differently, and we also want to again start to move out of this space where we say manifestos, nobody don't business with no manifesto, nobody don't read no manifesto, people are not interested. This is why we launched in a different way at a mass meeting, so more people could actually be engaged, because it's not fair to a population to say that nobody's interested in a manifesto if you have never taken it to them, and in a way in which they might be interested. And similarly, if people have different accessibility issues and concerns, if you've never brought those features to your website, then you really can't criticize people for not engaging. And similarly, if you have innovative tools like Bella, then you really can tap into another level of youth interest and innovative interest for persons who might not even be so interested in the information as the tool, and that's how you broaden the base of people who are interested in the political process.
To access the AI assistant, users must sign into the platform, a measure Mrs. Johnson-Smith says is intended to safeguard against misuse or bad faith engagement. The Electoral Office of Jamaica responded to concerns raised by the People's National Party, PNP, over voting arrangements for security personnel and election day workers during the special vote. The PNP claims that officers from non-geographic units were reassigned to vote in Kingston instead of their usual rural constituencies, potentially leading to disenfranchisement due to lack of awareness. The party calls for urgent clarification and action to prevent voter suppression. In response, the EOJ explained that polling assignments were based on information from the Jamaica Constabulary Force and Jamaica Defense Force, and reaffirmed its commitment to fair access for all eligible voters. The special vote occurs ahead of the national election on September 3. The Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica walked away with 2 top honors and a special mention at the 36th Annual Caribbean Broadcasting Union Awards in Barbados. Here's more from Denita Rodney.
Programs Manager at the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica, Carol Francis, was named the Best TV Producer for her work on New Year natives and endemics.
A group of them is referred to by various names. Some refer to them as a flock, others call them a company. Still, another name for a group of them is pandemonium. Parrots are blessed with an average lifespan of over 30 years. There are over 370 known species in the world. 2 of the species are only found in Jamaica.
The team of Sherris Jackson, Gabrielle Thompson-Jackson, and Claude Watkins took home Best Public Service Announcement for World Diabetes Day 2024, put well-being at the heart of diabetic care.
1 in 10 people are living with diabetes. That's an estimated 537 million people worldwide. It's projected that by 2045, 700 million people will have the disease globally. With appropriate access to diabetes care and support for their well-being, everyone with diabetes has the chance to live well. Diabetes doesn't discriminate. It affects all age groups. Diabetes can be treated and its consequences avoided or delayed with a healthy diet, physical activity, medication, and regular screening and treatment for complications. Talk about it, seek help, and build up a good support system. Let's join our voices to raise awareness and put well-being at the heart of diabetes care. Contact the Diabetes Association of Jamaica to learn more.
Adding to the celebrations, PBCJ also received a special mention in financial literacy journalism for the business report produced by Denise Williams. 2 awards and a special mention, a clear sign that Jamaica's public broadcaster continues to set the standard in quality programming across the region.
In this week's Unfiltered, Chanel Matthews goes into the streets to find out people's opinion on whether or not voting should be mandatory.
I am Chanel and this is Unfiltered. The question for today is, do you think voting should be mandatory? Why or why not?
No, I don't think it should be mandatory because it is your right and it's your choice. What if the options are not what you would like? I don't think somebody should force you to choose what you don't want to choose. So I think it should be non-mandatory and leave it at the person's choice whether or not they're going to vote or not.
Throughout the entire universe, people normally vote, right? We're supposed to vote for a better constitutional right. But because of all the things that's going in Jamaica, most people don't want to really vote because they want to see better, and most people say they're not seeing anything for them to vote for. So most people lay back and don't want to vote, but I think we should vote for better.
It should be mandatory because everybody complain. So you can't complain to the road full of pothole if you never vote for somebody who did go fix the pothole. Everybody feel it. Once upon a time, crime and violence only did affect downtown and the garrison. Now Cherry Gardens have Zozo and everybody have to have a camera and everywhere for grill up. So why not vote?
Voting shouldn't. It's supposed to be free willingly because it's based on how you see if a person can run a country and them fit enough. So if me not see you fit enough run country, me not go by what you say, me not go do what you say. Me not go by nothing what you say. So basically it's up to me if me want to vote for you, yes or no.
No, I don't think it should be mandatory. You should have your free will because God gave everybody choices. All right? So you have a choice to vote or not to vote.
No, well, I think you should have a choice. You should have a choice to choose who you want. Or if you don't want, you're supposed to have your choice to do that.
Time now for the Business Report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. The Bank of Jamaica generated net profits of $21.6 billion on total assets of $1.24 trillion during the 8-month period ending August 25th. The central bank says its total assets for the period included foreign assets of $998.7 billion and total assets of $244.9 billion. Additionally, circulation climbed by $600,000 to $259.1 million since the start of this year on the JAMDEX digital currency. The bank adds that JAMDEX now accounts for less than 1% of the total $273 billion in circulation. Natalie Haynes, Deputy Governor of Financial Markets and Payment Systems, says the slow growth of JAMDEX means more effort is required to promote its use for day-to-day transactions. For the trading period ending August 28, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Investment house Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial shares with 6,010,795 units traded, representing 14.19% of market sales volume. Online education firm One-on-One Educational Services Limited with 5,001,371 units traded, representing 11.81% of market sales volume. International hardware distributor Fosrich Company Limited with 4,644,310 units traded, representing 10.96% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On August 28, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $61.45 million purchased and US $58.32 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.61 per dollar, selling the US at $160.92 and buying the US at $159.31. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders 80 cents per transaction, with selling at $117.30 and buying at $116.50. The British pound yielded Forex traders $1 in profit, with selling at $217.37 and buying at $216.37. For our credit report tip of the day, many people underestimate the power of their credit score until it costs them. Ignoring your credit report isn't just a small oversight. It can silently drain your finances, block opportunities, and create stress you don't need. Understanding your credit score is the first step to taking control of your financial future. Here are a few ways ignoring your credit score can hurt you. Lower confidence in money decisions, difficulty accessing personal lines of credit, missing the window to rebuild after mistakes, losing valuable time that compounds into lost wealth. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, Cuba has joined Venezuela in criticizing the presence of U.S. military assets in the Caribbean, calling it a threat to regional sovereignty. Havana insists the deployment is less about combating drugs and more about exerting power, while regional leaders remain cautious in their response. CNC3 News has the details.
Cuba's voice has been added to the chorus of criticism on the presence of U.S. military assets near Venezuela. The Miguel Diaz-Canel administration declares that this move poses a grave threat and stands as an aggressive display of power against the sovereignty and self-determination of Latin American and Caribbean nations. Cuba argues that while the U.S. is telling the world that their military presence is an offensive move in the war against drugs, that is far from the truth. Cuba said the U.S. is infamous for these false narratives and added that the Trump administration is resorting once more to lies to justify its violence and plunder. Cuba said the U.S. is not fooling anyone, insisting that the military arsenal deployed in Caribbean waters can never be solely intended for narco-terrorists. Cuba said the Americans are looking to turn the Caribbean Sea into a battlefield, adding that no reasonable person could believe the scale of U.S. troops, combat equipment, naval forces, including nuclear submarines, and firepower deployed in the region is a legitimate way to combat organized crime, drug trafficking, or irregular migration. And the Venezuelan ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago is welcoming Cuba's support. Alvaro Sanchez Cordero told CNC3 News that they sincerely appreciate Cuba's support about the contradictory U.S. policy on its response to the war on drugs. Now, CARICOM has not said anything as yet on these developments in the region. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves told CNC3 News that CARICOM Chair Andrew Holness may be consulting with individual members first. However, he said that this U.S.-Venezuela standoff may not be a priority at the moment.
The truth is this. I mean, I don't know if it's the biggest issue on the agenda for CARICOM at the moment, you know.
Meanwhile, CNC3 News sought a response from Guyana's government after Kamla Persad-Bissessar offered this country as a base for the U.S. if Venezuela moves against Guyana. Its foreign affairs minister said that has not been discussed much on a government level as they are in the midst of an election. However, he did say it's a position that he respects and every sovereign nation has a right to determine its own self-interest. Akash Samaru, CNC3 News.
A high-level security conference is underway in St. Lucia, bringing together financial intelligence units from across the regional security system. The goal, to strengthen cooperation and to develop a unified strategy to disrupt organized crime by targeting its financial lifelines.
We need what I would say as well as a regional security mechanism.
A high-level strategy conference is currently underway in St. Lucia, bringing together the financial intelligence units, FIUs, of all 8 member states of the Regional Security System, RSS. The meeting aims to craft a unified action plan to dismantle criminal networks by tracking the illicit flow of money and targeting the masterminds at the heart of organized crime.
To learn from each other and share experiences in terms of how they are addressing money laundering, how they are addressing asset recovery, and how we can have more proactive approach to addressing the increasing crime rates that we are seeing across the region.
Keisha Sutherland, a key figure within the asset recovery unit of the regional security system, is tackling some of the most pressing challenges in identifying and addressing financial crimes.
When we think of financial crimes, we think of just money laundering, for example. However, what we have been, or the motto of the asset recovery unit, is to take the proceeds out of crime. As we would recognize, we have different motivations. Myself, I go to work and I am thinking that, 3 months of not being paid, I would probably not show up the next month. And I think similarly, criminals have a motivation for being involved in crime. And usually, if we look at most of the crimes that are committed, that is because there is a gain attached to it.
Sutherland draws a clear line between various levels of criminal activity, revealing how their interconnectivity creates a dangerously fertile ground for syndicates to thrive, whether it's drug trafficking, human smuggling, or cybercrime. She notes that the common thread is almost always financial gain.
When I say guns are being made, we are seeing 3D printed guns, or you have weapons that would have been designated for other use being then recalibrated for use as actual weapons, right? And the point that I want to make is that you're seeing that increase in those guns or weapons because persons want to protect a turf, for example. And that is in relation to probably drug trafficking. And so our motto will help law enforcement and other authorities in stamping out stamping out crimes or reducing crimes, because our approach is that you're taking away that motivation from the person. So if you take the funds away, hopefully, then they wouldn't have any funds to perpetuate their criminal activities, and you would be removing the motivation.
Annoying concern, Sutherland notes, is the growing trend of incarcerated individuals continuing to wield significant influence over gang operations. Even from behind prison walls, they manage to orchestrate the movement of contraband and illicit funds, exploiting loopholes in the penal system to maintain control.
However, when we are able to remove someone's criminal property, we know for sure that they will not have the capacity to continue to do that. Because one of the things we have also recognized is that, look, the persons who are outside, who might be under the control of a gang or control of a particular grouping, they continue to do that because they are being influenced. They are dependent on the funds that are coming from this person. And so that is why even if we have incarceration, it will continue. So I think when we think of this meeting, I think the short would be that it's an opportunity for us to strategize as financial intelligence units, specialized investigative units, to actually address the crime rates, especially as it relates to financial crimes.
As crime syndicates grow more sophisticated, stakeholders are sharpening their focus on financial intelligence as the frontline weapon in exposing and disrupting organized crime.
In sports, we look to cricket. West Indies under-19 captain Joshua Dorn says the squad is ready to embrace the challenge of Sri Lanka in a 7-match youth one-day international series, which bowls off on Saturday, August 30 at the Coolidge Cricket Ground in Antigua. The Barbadian batter recently guided his country to the regional under-19 title while earning the tournament's MVP award. Dorn also has international experience as part of West Indies' team at the 2024 ICC Men's Under-19 World Cup. The squad has been acclimatizing in Antigua for the past week with a series of practice sessions under head coach Rohan Nurse designed to sharpen their skills ahead of the opening contest. Dorn notes that the spirit within the camp was especially encouraging while highlighting the importance of discipline and adaptability. A 4-member contingent from the Trinbago Knight Riders franchise, which included CE Venki Mysore, paid Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bissessar a special courtesy visit. The visit came after TKR's historic victory over the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons on Wednesday at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. TTT Sports' Adrian Lazar brings us the details.
Following an 8-wicket victory over the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons in their first home match of the 2025 CPL season, a Trinbago Knight Riders contingent of CEO Venki Mysore, Business Operations Manager Kyron Surratt, Head Coach Dwayne Bravo and Captain Nicholas Puran visited the office of the Prime Minister for a meeting with Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bissessar. During the visit, the 4-member TKR contingent presented Mrs. Prasad Bissessar with a team jersey with the initials KPB. Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister and Minister of Public Utilities, Barry Padarath, was also presented with a TKR team jersey with the name Barry. The Prime Minister, on behalf of her cabinet, praised TKR on their victory over Antigua and Barbuda and expressed full confidence in the team's capability. She also extended best wishes on behalf of the nation. Adrian Lazar, TTT Sport.
And that's it for the weekend news. Pleasant viewing.